Imperfect Gentleman Show.
But LA is its own different animal. Do you see what I'm saying? So me and George, we came out from DC where we lived like kings. Let's be honest. We were kings. And then we came here and we were peasants, my dude. Peasants. I don't care what anyone says.
We weren't peasants, bro.
Yeah.
Peasants. There was a 6 months where we were kings.
George, there was never a moment where we were kings. And no, you're right. You're right. I apologize. For the first 3 months when we came to LA, we were kings because we still had DC swag and DC money. But that ran out so quick in LA. We ate at the taco truck for $4 for like 2.5 years, my dude, every single night.
Like when I first came, we were going out to restaurants, inviting.
Doc, we were going out. Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
Like, George, you might have to slow down. And I'm like, why? He's like, this is LA. I'm like, what do you mean this is LA? And then all the bills came in the next month. I was like, oh my God, this is LA.
We were at the spot every night balling because the spot, it's cool, but it's not inexpensive.
Exactly.
We were spending like $50, $100 on dinner at nights. And it wasn't even anything because in DC, like we George and I are from DC. We're born and raised DC. And
we had many different means of income in DC. Many different means of income.
Well, that's because we were doing a lot of different things as far as, and I want to make it because before we say many different means of income and everyone thinks we were just selling drugs, which is so funny to me when people are like, oh, do you deal drugs? It's like drug dealers live at home in their parents' basements. Like drug dealers don't have money. They just go to jail and it sounds cool. The real drug dealers.
And the thing about drug dealing is you don't get a 401k. You don't get health care. You don't get benefits. That money comes up quick. And the amount of effort and energy that people spend trapping, if they were to put that same energy into academia or corporate America, these would be the CEOs. I mean,
100%. It's the same thing.
Jay-Z did. Look at Jay-Z.
It's the same thing.
Some of these rappers who are really successful, the ones who become moguls, 9 times out of 10, they were trappers before,
Well, because it's the same exact skills applied in a positive manner. When you're dealing drugs, you're actually poison. Did you fall? Did you just fall down?
I actually put my phone down on speaker because I'm like that, right? I'm living my king life, so I don't feel obliged to have to hold the phone to my head.
Oh, no, you have to hold the phone to your head. Or put headphones on because the sound quality is different.
Is this better? I'm back.
It's much better. It's much better. But in for future shows, because I'm assuming you're going to be in DC for a little while. For future shows, you should get headphones and put them in because when I do the videos on computer or when you did a couple Skype shows, when you're like on VH1, the shows you did on VH1 and you did them on Skype, that's why they ask you to do that because the sound quality is just so much clearer.
Well, I have headphones right now, and because I love Imperfect Nation,
that's what's up.
So much, I'm putting them in.
Didn't we have Imperfect Gentleman headphones at one point?
We did. We had Imperfect Gentleman cars, boats.
No, we never had Imperfect Gentlemen cars and boats. We had Tehran and George cars and boats. We had Tehran and George cars and boats. And then we moved to LA and we had Imperfect Gentlemen EBT cards, which we needed to use at the grocery store to get food.
And it's the Imperfect Gentleman, it just has its own swag. We were on the road, and Tehran and I think we both agree that we love Escalades. And then we saw Tehran find this like infinity truck, which is so ugly, but it's the perfect Imperfect Gentleman SUV.
It is.
Which we were supposed to buy, and we never did.
It is. It's because we don't have money. I don't want to say this because I want our listeners to be like, oh, they're poor. No, we are people, millennials who have dreams and sacrifice money for what we hope to be our eventual happiness, which is something that's very real in our generation. Our parents' generation didn't have that. What they did was they sacrificed their own happiness for safety, right? And we see that because of the bitterness that which they in a lot of ways raise us with.
Projecting bitterness onto an entire generation.
But it's real.
Of people.
No, it is real. That's why they are unhappy. I feel like the generation before us is not as happy a generation as our generation.